Hello, hello, and welcome to the live stream. Welcome in, lads. We are locked and loaded for Game Week 15. As you can see, I've already made my first transfer. The only thing to decide now is obviously captaincy and bench in order. There is a bit of a benching headache with Rangers against Sunderland at home, who I definitely wouldn't mind starting this game week. I also don't mind having him first on my bench. But in terms of the transfers that I've made, I've made a transfer. I've gone from João Pedro to Voltemada. I did it last night actually to avoid the price change. So let me know what you guys think, and yeah, drop a comment in the chat if you're in the chat now. Vote on the poll as well. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Yeah, start dropping your comments in. Charlie, hello mate. Hello to you too. Welcome into the stream. How's it going, man? How's your FPL team looking for this weekend? Anish, hello. Welcome in, guys. Yes, we're ready for the deadline stream. For the deadline, I think we're pretty set. Just looking at some predicted points, seeing where I can get a bit of a, maybe decide this bench and headache a bit more. In fact, one thing I want to do, and I quite enjoy using this this feature from Plan FPL, which is a great website for planning all your transfers, etc. Let me restart this one. Yeah, essentially looking at some predicted points on Plan FPL. That's always a good way to kind of decide your bench. Or you can just look at this from Rob T, which is another way. But I'll go back to my team for now, so you guys can see what we're working with. Stephen Gill, good morning to you too. Triple captain Bruno did not end well. Yeah, that's so unfortunate. Honestly, I think that was such a high risk, high reward play. Like, if it went well, you could honestly have been like in the top, If triple captain Bruno went well, you would have been flying because everyone would have had Haaland as well. I just feel like, you got very unlucky there. What is this little sign for Munoz? Oh, that's cool. So they've added a new little feature on FPL. This player currently has 4 yellow cards in the Premier League and will face a 1-match suspension should they receive another before game week 20. Interesting. So a little status update. That's good to know. But yeah, Jeevan, triple captain Bruno did not end well. I feel for you, mate. That is so unfortunate. I captained him as well, so yeah, not happy with the outcome, but the decision making was there, obviously. Meknath Vidi says, hi mate, Dubravka, Richards, Goodmanson and Stack. Is it worth a benched boost? Dubravka against Newcastle away. I mean, everyone has Dubravka. At least he's playing. Richards against Fulham away. Goodmanson and Stack. Who did Leeds play? Liverpool. Nah, I don't think that's a bench boost. If I'm honest, don't think that's a bench boost. Not enough. There's no great fixtures there, unfortunately. Aaron, hello to you too. Anish says, for game week 16, I'm committed to Mateta to Thiago, and I want to swap out and die, likely for Foden or Minta. Which combination looks better, Foden and Vandenberg or Minta and Munoz? I quite like Foden and Vandenberg, if I'm honest. Especially with Munoz's 4 yellow cards, which we can now see on this status update. I quite like the look of Foden and Vandenberg. Brentford's defensive data is actually really solid this season. Really solid. So, I don't mind it at all. Charlie Wilkinson, not too bad. Good run of fixtures today. Thinking of selling Mateta and Semenyo. Yeah, so am I. I think they're both out of my team on with our 5 free transfers. They've got to go. I'm really not enjoying having Mateta or Semenyo in my team right now. But I could also just hoard up all the free transfers. Like, I don't have anyone going to AFCON. So, I'm happy enough with how the team looks. Retired says, Semenyo to Foden, Sar to Minta, or Van de Ven to Van Heck. Only 1 free transfer. Love the content. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the content, man. I would say Semenyo to Foden is probably the highest upside move, but Semenyo does play. Sar to Minta, I feel like Sar to Minta could be good. Let me just check something with Minta. So Gambia, he plays for Gambia. Is Gambia in AFCON? Maybe that's, I should know this. Uh, uh, uh. Jeez, this is so much more difficult than it should be. No, they've not qualified. So yeah, Minta. I think Sarta Minta could be the play for you there. And I'm not. I don't think Van de Ven to Van Heck is worth it. But yeah, I like Sarta Minta as a bit of a higher upside pick than Van de Ven to Van Heck. If you only have one free transfer, of course. Ahad says, can we carry forward the 5 free transfers we receive next game week? Yeah, you can. So you get them, and it's not like you have to use all 5 this next game week. You can use, you should use at least one. You should also use all your transfers now. So here's a summary. You should use all your transfers right now, and because it's gonna replenish up to 5. And then next game week, use at least one, because then it's just going to replenish. If you use one, you're going to have 4 left, and it's going to replenish back to 5 the next game week. So yeah, you can carry them forward. Should I bench Mateta or Anderson, and captain Bruno or Haaland? I'm captaining Haaland over Bruno after what I saw Haaland do. Bench Mateta or Anderson? I'd be benching Anderson there, starting the penalty taker, I always say. Stephen Gill, welcome to the chat, man. Struggling with where to use my free transfer this game week. Would you do Enzo to Bruno Guimaraes or Mateta to Thiago? Only got 0.1 in the bank, so don't have many options. I prefer the Mateta to Thiago move, if I'm honest. Let's look at Thiago's expected points this game week. Is he up there? He's not in the top 15. But then again, neither is Mateta. So, yeah, I like the Mateta to Thiago move, if I'm honest. You can see Semenyo doing well this week. So can I. Yeah. I have him in my team, so I hope so. But no, I can see him doing well. Chelsea don't have Caicedo. Yeah, I like it. Cam says Mateta to Thiago and or Enzo to Gordon / Bruno Guimaraes. Yeah, I don't know if Enzo's a definite transfer out. I prefer the Mateta to Thiago move. I think I've seen enough of Mateta to know that I don't want him in my team anymore. I can't say the same about Enzo. I still think Enzo's a decent FPL pick at his price, depending on what price you got him at. Yeah, I still like Enzo as a pick, so I don't think he's a definite sell at all. Offside Footy F1, hello mate, good morning. Good morning to you too, welcome to the stream, man. You did sack a captain last game week, I remember that. Witnessed Arteta roulette. This week I got Foden in place of Semenyo. Watch Pep play roulette. Oh mate, yeah, you're playing a dangerous game there. Playing a dangerous game, but this is the game we play of FPL. You gotta go for it. So no, I like the Foden move this week. I think if Foden gets benched, that's so unlucky for anyone who got him in. But yeah, that's just FPL, isn't it? I have a feeling Foden will get benched. I do have a slight feeling, but we won't know because the early fixture is Aston Villa against Arsenal, so we'll find out shortly after. Aaron says, free hit team, Donnarumma, Tarkowski, Munoz, Chow, Foden, Bruno Guimaraes, Minta, Haaland, Welbeck, and Voltemada. Bench, Dubravka, Anderson, Szoboszlai, Van Heck. Really like it, man. Really like it. That's a strong free hit. I think this is a good week to free hit if you haven't used it yet. Zach Howard, welcome to the chat, man. Morning to you too. Decided who you're transferring yet? So yeah, I've actually done my transfer already. I've done João Pedro to Voltemada. So I've made my move. Yeah, I did it last night because I wanted to catch the price rise on Voltemada. And I just saw all the reports, all the predicted lineups. You know, a lot of the predicted lineups had Voltemada playing. So I was more than happy to start him in that case. I'll show you where I get my predicted lineups from. But yeah, I did this last night because I was like, you know what? If he's 100% to start, then I'm happy enough to punt on it and go for it. So this is the Newcastle predicted lineup. And yeah, Voltemada was 100%. So that was enough for me to just say, fuck it. You know, he's playing Burnley at home. I'm just going to go for it. And yeah, did the transfer last night. João Pedro to Voltemada. Ravinda, hey Stephen, need to bench one between Lacroix, O'Reilly, João Pedro, Elliot, Anderson. Unfortunately, I think it's got to be Elliot Anderson there. It's between Elliot Anderson and João Pedro. I think Elliot Anderson's got to be benched. Rory says 6 out of 10 top point scorers overall are defenders, especially with DEFCON. Why aren't more playing 4 or 5 at the back? Don't release the secrets, mate. No, honestly, like 4 at the back is looking so strong. I feel like the reason people don't want to do it is because it's not as fun, you know? I know if people wanted to win FPL, maybe they would just be like, oh, I'm just going to play 5 at the back every week and hope that we get a load of clean sheets, go triple Arsenal defense, you know, all this stuff. And it is a good play, but in terms of having fun with FPL, I mean, it's just like there's more routes to points with some of the midfielders and forwards. You know, they got penalties, they get, you know, assists, goals. So I feel like, yeah, you're just spreading your risk out a bit more and enjoying the game a bit more. If you went 5 at the back, I feel like it's just so sweaty. I think 4 at the back is a good compromise for now. Clement says, would you do Saka to Foden for a -4? I wouldn't do that for a -4. I think Saka's a hold. Like, I would hold on to Saka. I wouldn't even mind transferring Saka in. I think he's a good pick. Yeah, I wouldn't be getting rid of him for a -4. Jonathan says, are you doing Mateta to Thiago and Semenyo to Foden next game week? I probably am, if I'm honest. Yeah, probably am doing it. I want to have a look because Plan FPL is slightly down at the moment. But I'll show you guys some of my transfer plans. So this is how we're looking this game week. We've got, we did Voltamata in already. And we actually have 0.7, I believe, because I did it before. Yeah, we have 0.7, but the website has updated. So yeah, this is how we're looking for game week, for this game week. And the next game week, boom. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'd hold on to Raya. Munoz I would probably bench. I could play Josh King against Burnley away. I'm not a huge fan of that. But yeah, in terms of my transfers, I'd probably do Mateta to Thiago. And then I could leave it there, or I could just do Semenyo to Foden. But Semenyo plays Man United away, and Foden plays Crystal Palace away. So like I would predict Semenyo to do better than Foden there. I prefer playing Man United away than Crystal Palace away. So I'd almost be tempted just to like hold on to him there. Yeah, it's a tough one, but I feel confident in that. And then yeah, it would just be a case of Munoz against Man City at home isn't ideal, especially playing Haaland. But I could just do Josh King against Burnley. Like, I don't know what I would really want to do there. I could upgrade. I could get rid of Rangers to someone. So I could do like Rangers to Minta, which I don't mind at all. But he plays Liverpool, so I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I could also just hold on to Rangers is the funny thing. You know what I really actually am likely to do is Rangers to Anderson. And then I would bench Munoz that way. Yeah, and then I would just have Anderson on my team. And then the next game week, well, I'd have used 2 out of my 5 free transfers. I'd go into the next game week with 4 free transfers. And I wouldn't really need to make a transfer because I have, I would bench Malik Chow against Chelsea at home. The rest of my team I'm happy enough with. I could look to get rid of Enzo, upgrade Enzo to Foden. Although can I even afford that now? Foden's 8.4, which is crazy. So I could actually do Enzo to Foden the week before. I could do that. That looks quite nice. I don't mind the look of that, boys. I do not mind the look of that. Yeah, that could be the play, actually. Yeah, I like it quite a lot. Mateta to Thiago. So this would be my game week 16 transfers. Mateta to Thiago, Rangers to Foden, Enzo to Anderson. But for now, let's keep an eye on game week 15 because anything can happen with injuries, etc. So we'll wait and see what happens. Yeah. Jamoa, thinking of doing Mateta to Thiago. Should I then bench Van Dijk, Timber, or Enzo? Mateta to Thiago, I really like. And then in terms of who to bench, Van Dijk, Timber, or Enzo, I'd probably be benching Enzo there. I'd want to start Van Dijk and Timber there. We've just got a super chat from Sir. Thank you again very much. I really appreciate it, man. I'm going to drop a like straight onto that bad boy. But yeah, I'll read out your question straight away. You said, hello, I lost 500k rank because of Bruno captain, lol. I went Foden and Pickford for Semenyo and Raya. Pickford is risky but has good fixtures. And I use your free transfer on game week 16, so I use my Arsenal spot on another position. I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at. I think I'm in a similar position where I lost like a massive, my rank went down massively. I went from 1.1 mil to 1.4. So I jumped like 300k. Not as bad as 500k. So yeah, that's really upsetting. I obviously captained Bruno as well. So I hope it wasn't me that dragged you into that absolute dumpster fire of a Bruno captaincy pick. But no, I don't mind the Pickford pick either. And yeah, you'll get your Arsenal slot back in Game Week 16. I really like the thought process there. Solid thinking, mate. Solid thinking. Zach McParland, welcome to the stream, man. Hi, Stephen. I have a front three of Haaland, Thiago, and Mateta. Also have Enzo and Semenyo. Only one free transfer ideas. I don't mind Mateta to Voltamata, but you could also do Semenyo to Foden. So one of those moves. Mateta to Voltamata, Semenyo to Foden. If you can afford Semenyo to Foden, of course. Jeevan Gill. I could also do Senesi up to anyone up to 4.9. Any recommendations? I don't see anyone I fancy. I mean, depending on who you already have. Malik Chow is now 5 mil, which is unfortunate. Could go for someone like let's see, defenders up to 5 mil. Oh, you can do 4.9. I don't mind Van Heck as a pick, actually. I quite like Van Heck, but obviously it's not like a spicy pick. It's not like a really interesting one, but just to use the transfer, because obviously you have to use the transfer. Yeah, Brighton have some really nice fixtures scattered amongst some really tough fixtures as well, but like West Ham, Sunderland, West Ham, Burnley. So they play West Ham twice in the next 5 and Burnley as well after that. So yeah, you can like rotate him in and out of your team. Quite like Van Heck as a pick there, if I'm honest. Just to use a transfer. I know it's not a good one, but you've got to use the free transfer if you have it. Meknath Vidi says, is it worth bringing Raul Jimenez in Game Week 16? I think it is. I really like the look of Fulham's fixtures from Game Week 16 to Game Week 18. A nice little short-term punt. You could do, could do it. Go Burnley away, Forest at home, West Ham away. That's another move I could do. I could, instead of Thiago, I could just get Raul Jimenez in for a bit of fun. So I could well be joining you on that transfer. MJ says Mateta to Voltamata for a hit. I wouldn't take a hit to do that. I wouldn't take a hit to get rid of Mateta. Not to mind to get Voltamata in, but just like getting rid of Mateta for a hit isn't something I'd do for anyone. Yanarsify, is Foden starting? We don't know. Let's have a quick look at the Man City predicted lineups. Arsenal, Villa, Brighton, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City. Foden is 100% likely to start according to the predicted lineups. Excuse me. So it looks like he will start, and I think he will as well. Aaron Jr. Any reliable places to check City's predicted lineup? I mean, this is a good place to check predicted lineups. In terms of checking team leaks, I'll be looking at it closer to the deadline. But as of right now, Lazy FPL is the one that usually has pretty good team leaks, but they've not had it for a while actually. So yeah, maybe it's all dried up there. Wing Chun says Gakpo or Rogers? Probably go Gakpo there. Good morning. Did Mateta to Voltamata last night? Let's hope for a double-digit return. Love it, mate. Let's go. You're on the same buzz as me. I did João Pedro to Voltamata, so yeah, we're on the same buzz there. Wing Chun says James or Senesi? Neither, honestly, but I'd say Reece James. No, I would say Senesi. Yeah, I would say Senesi over Reece James in the long term. Jim Peasy says, hey, bring in Minta or Thiago this week for Semenyo / Enzo or Mateta. Yeah, I don't think Semenyo or Enzo are definite transfers out right now, so I would do Mateta to Thiago. MJ, would you keep Rice? Yeah, I would. Quite like the look of Rice. He's he's playing well. He's on a lot of set pieces, so yeah, I quite like him as a pick, to be fair. I do like it. Tracia says, just want to let you know your voice sounds so far. Is it only me? I maxed my volume already. Yeah, let me know, guys, if my voice is really low. Maybe it's just you. Maybe it is me. Let me know. Someone else let me know as well so I can confirm. Harry Widdop, Enzo to Bruno G or Saka, but will be a -4. Enzo to Bruno Guimaraes. I don't mind that transfer, actually. Yeah. But if it's for a -4, I wouldn't do it. And do you mean Saka to Bruno G? Because I definitely don't like that one either. Offside Footy F1. Which two would you start here? Anderson, Chalobah, Mateta, Anderson. Without Caicedo, I think Bournemouth will score 1 to 2 goals and Crystal Palace will struggle against Fulham. Yeah, Fulham is never an easy fixture, especially, you know, at Fulham in Craven Cottage. They're so strong there. So let's have a little analysis here. So Anderson for Fulham against Crystal Palace isn't ideal. Chalobah against Bournemouth away, also not ideal. I think of those four, the first one I'm going to say to start is Mateta, just because he's on penalties. I do think Crystal Palace will score, but out of those four players, I think I would just automatically pick a penalty taker. And then between Anderson, Chalobah, and Anderson at Forest, I would probably start Anderson at Forest and Mateta. Yeah, I'd probably go for those two. Because I know that I agree that I think Crystal Palace will struggle at Fulham, but I just think they may nab a goal. So I back the penalty taker as opposed to Anderson at Fulham. Nikolai says, "Hi mate, what's your thoughts on doing Saka to Foden and going triple Arsenal defence?" I don't mind it. I don't mind it. After the Saka benching, like, I still think Saka's a good pick. And I'm not huge on this Foden Sunderland game, but no, I don't mind it. Triple Arsenal defence is another one that I love. I love triple Arsenal defence as a pick. And then you sent in your team: Raya, Van Dijk, Saliba, Munoz, Anderson, Bruno Ndiaye, Haaland, Thiago Voltemata, Senesi, King, Mukiela on the bench. Yeah, I quite like it. I mean, you have to use a free transfer this game week, so Saka to Foden, I do like that move. Alex X Cobedo says, "You don't think Brentford could be a trap? Most of the returns from Thiago are penalties, and Dango penalty bait is going to AFCON." Yeah, the penalty bait is going to AFCON. That is a great point. Dango has won a lot of those penalties for Brentford. But yeah, it's interesting because Thiago has also scored 5 goals outside of penalties. So he scored 11 goals, I believe. So yeah, half are penalties, half aren't. For his price, I still think he's a great pick. But yeah, maybe if the penalty bait is going to AFCON, that could change things significantly. MFA says, "Do we get 5 free transfers because of AFCON?" Yes, we do. So use all your free transfers today, and then you'll get a replenish for next game week. Tracy says, "Any advice for Chow versus Livermento?" I'd say Chow is just a slightly better option in terms of consistent minutes, injury record, DEFCON potential. Yeah, quite like Chow as the pick there. Zach Howard, "I miss Senesi in my team. Need the money as well. Need him for game week 17 against Burnley at home. With Mascara out till February, Timber plays at centre back till Gabriel or Saliba is fit." Yeah, also Ben White can play at centre back as well. So it's quite interesting to see how that's going to play out. I also like the thought that you're looking ahead, you know, Senesi against Burnley at home is a fixture you're going to want him for. So yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma there. Sam Ansel, "Morning mate, what's the best Gakpo replacement? Already have Foden, Bruno, Semenyo." I don't know if Gakpo needs replacing right now. I mean, he plays Leeds away. I quite like Gakpo this game week. But if you really want to get rid of him, I like Minta as a pick. But no, I quite like having Gakpo this week. Sir, no, it was totally my fault with the captaincy, with the Bruno captaincy. Fair enough. I see you also said, "I checked your LinkedIn. It's nice to see overall in your background. I'm an industrial engineer, and it's so nice to see optimization studies in football." Yeah, good to see you're on my LinkedIn as well. Yeah, I love a bit of LinkedIn. Sorry, my mate's just messaged me for FPL advice. So let's see what I'm thinking here. He's got Raya, Timber, James, Van de Ven, Gakpo, Bruno, Semenyo, King, Mateta, Haaland, João Pedro. And then on the bench, Dubravka, Senesi, Sar, Alderete. Let me say how many free transfers and money in the bank. And then I'll answer his question. But I'll go with your guys' first. Fahad says, "Do you think downgrading Pope to a worse goalkeeper and upgrading Enzo to Foden for a -4 is worth it? Can't upgrade Enzo to Foden without it. Already have Saka, Bruno, Mateta, Thiago, Haaland." I think downgrading Pope is worth it. Upgrading Enzo to Foden for a -4, That's almost worth the -4, I feel. But yeah, Enzo, I don't mind against Bournemouth. I don't mind it. Obviously, with Palmer coming back, we'll see what that does to Enzo's positions, etc. You can't upgrade Enzo to Foden without it. You already have Saka, Bruno, Mateta, Thiago, Haaland. I think Pope's got to go anyways. Pope to Kelleher is what I said in my videos this week. I like Pope to Kelleher. And then I do think if you want to go for the upgrade, Enzo to Foden for a -4, I wouldn't do it, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it either. Nicholas Berg says, start Reinders or Semenyo? Currently, I'm starting Semenyo over Reinders in my team. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. All right, let's see. My mates are hammering me for some FPL advice, so let's see what I can help them out with. So, like I said, he's got Raya, Timber, James, Van de Ven. In the midfield, Gakpo, Bruno, Semenyo, Josh King, Mateta, Haaland, João Pedro. I'm going to say... can you do João Pedro to Voltemata? That move. This. I don't mind it. Don't mind it. Actually do Sar to Minta. I didn't realize he has to play, so you don't have to play Josh King. Yeah, all right, that's my mate's team sorted. I think another one of my friends, because I always get hammered by my friends to do to do some transfers. And then I'm just messing my mate. All right, back to the stream. Alrighty. Start Reinders or Semenyo? Yeah, I would go just about Semenyo. I just can't be secure in, Reinders minutes. Offside Footy Stat Bomb says Chelsea has conceded 7 goals to strikers so far. Evan Nielsen might feast. Bournemouth has conceded 9 goals to strikers. João Pedro or Delap. Yeah, so I transferred out João Pedro, so I'm not going to even consider this this analysis. No, obviously, I did see that Bournemouth stat, and it's quite interesting. But it's one of those ones where I'm like, João Pedro probably won't even start striker. They'll just play Delap there instead. Not Nepo says, thoughts on out of position to Kuiper punt? I quite like it. I quite like it a lot, actually. I really like that. Yeah, it's a good shout with their fixtures. This game makes a great fixture. Geet says, Cha worth for a -4? Nah, I wouldn't get him in for a -4. Defensive transfer for a -4 is crazy. Geoscope, bench one between Nico Williams, Chalobah, Eze, Rogers. Would I bench Nico Williams there? Just predict Spurs to maybe grab a goal. Bench one of Timber, Lacroix, or Lacroix. Maybe Lacroix. Let me just make sure I got that right. No, Spurs play Brentford, so Forest play Everton. Sorry, to go back to your question, Geoscope. Between Nico Williams, Chalobah, Eze and Rogers, would you bench? It depends on Eze's minutes and what you predict. Like, do you think Eze will start? If not, like, what are you going to do there? So apparently my voice is a little bit far away. I'm only getting to that part now. Let me just make sure that I'm using the right... interesting. Well, I think it should have to do for now. I'll just put I'll put an external mic in, and hopefully that works for you guys. Hopefully that helps. All right. Okay. Senesi to Burn or Chow? I would say Chow probably, if you can afford him. Who are we not captaining today? MK Impression says, I enjoyed the Munoz captain. Oh, that was so annoying. If you guys were on my deadline stream this game week, I had Munoz vice captained. Basically, I had him captain all the way up until like 20 minutes to go. And then I spun the wheel and I was like, Bruno or Munoz. It landed just about on Bruno. If it didn't, I would have captained Munoz. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Unfortunate. Harry says, was meaning Enzo to Bruno G would be free, but Enzo to Saka would be -4. Enzo to Bruno G would be free, but Enzo to Saka would be -4. Yeah, I think in that case, Enzo to Bruno G, I wouldn't take the -4 right now. Jamie says, who's the best for the next 2 game weeks before wildcard in game week 17? Bruno G, Doku, or Minta? Obviously, Minta plays West Ham this game week and then Liverpool, so not ideal. But Liverpool can't defend, so yeah, I'd probably say Minta. I like Minta. Would you be going Bruno Fernandes to Foden if you can't afford Semenyo to Foden? Nah, I don't think. I think everyone's like, oh, I need to get Foden. Don't do Bruno to Foden. I think Semenyo to Foden makes sense, but like Bruno is honestly like a captaincy shout this game week, so I wouldn't be getting rid of a captaincy shout. And yeah, I think Foden is like a good transfer in, but don't rip your team apart to get him in, everyone. Guimaraes or Saka for this week? Saka, every week. Clement says, I have Donnarumma, but I'm looking to get rid of him. Do you think I should upgrade Raya to Raya, or should I go for someone cheaper like Sanchez or Dean Henderson? I wouldn't recommend you transfer out Donnarumma this game week, but if you had to go for someone, I said Stephen Gallagher is a good shout if you want to downgrade. Xavier says, Pope to Verbruggen or Mateta to Thiago. I mean, if you need a goalkeeper, I would get a goalkeeper. Pope to Verbruggen, I don't mind. MJ, Mateta to Thiago for a hit? For a hit, I wouldn't get rid of Mateta. Pawan says, I have Dan Burn. Will he play? Let's have a little look at Newcastle's clean sheet odds and see if he's likely to play or not. There they are. Burn has 92% chance of playing, so I think that's pretty strong. Pretty strong chances. But we'll keep an eye on that Newcastle lineup because I think it's so hard to predict this game week. Floppy edits. Is Rice playing? I mean, you would assume Rice plays basically every game week. Yeah, 100% chance Rice plays. Sander says, nothing else to do. Petrovic to Verbruggen or Gomez on your bench to Potts on your bench. Yeah, I would do the Petrovic to Verbruggen move, or Kelleher if you want to go for a Brentford defender, which I don't mind. Nikolai Muller says, what is the most sweaty way to play the game, do you feel like? Is it to play heavy 5 defenders and 3 midfielders and 1 forward if you only focus on winning your league? It's a tough one. Most sweaty way to play the game? Yeah, 5 at the back is very sweaty, but maybe that's just my FIFA bias coming in, like, oh yeah, 5 at the back has always been the sweatiest play. But I honestly do think 5 at the back is, it could be the optimal play this season. 6 out of the top 10 scorers right now are defenders, so could be a 5 at the back season. Maybe I'll just use my 5 free transfers to do that. Paddy O'Callaghan, Szoboszlai to Enzo. Or sorry, Szoboszlai or Enzo to start. Ooh, that's actually a tough one. Szoboszlai or Enzo? Would you go for Szoboszlai there? You'd probably start Szoboszlai just with the fixture. Although Leeds away has shown to be difficult. Maybe I'm talking myself into Enzo. Yeah, because I do think Leeds away is, Leeds when they're at home are so strong at Elland Road. I'd be worried. The thing I'd be worried about is always the slight chance that that Szoboszlai plays right back or just doesn't play. Whereas with Enzo, you think he's going to play 90 all the time. So maybe I'll just edge it towards Enzo there, which is tough though because Leeds away is a fixture would you want to target that fixture? I don't know. I can't even make a decision there, but I'd say probably Enzo. Floppy edits. What were we saying, Raya? Chalobah, Munoz, Timber, Bruno, Anderson, Foden, Dewsbury, Rice, Haaland, Thiago, and Mateta on the bench. And I like the team, man. Looks good. Raya, yeah, nice. Sergeant / Bash. Who would you sell out of Gakpo and Semenyo this week? Bring in Foden. I'd be selling Semenyo before I'd be selling Gakpo, honestly. I don't mind the Gakpo pick. If you can do Gakpo to or Semenyo to Foden, then that's the move. Flossy Boots, do you think Reece Jamie's start today, mate? I've activated my bench boost. I need to use my last trip. It's giving me a headache. I just want it done now. Yeah, I feel that, mate. I feel that. Let's have a quick look at Chelsea's predicted lineup. It looks like Reece James is 100% chance to start. So, yeah, they've predicted Reece James will start. I think he will. Ndiaye or Mateta to a Newcastle player. I mean, Mateta to Voltamata is a pick that I really like the look of. Mark Edwards, hi Stephen. On free hit, only question is Doku or Minta. You've got Lamens, Hall, Livermento, Munoz, Foden, Bruno G, Bruno F, Mbumo, Doku, Haaland, Welbeck. I quite like Minta over Doku, if I'm honest. Yeah, I just think West Ham is an easier fixture than Sunderland. Yeah, I quite like Minta as a pick on the free hit. Double Brighton attack. I mean, I'll show you my free hit team if you guys want to have a quick look. This is my free hit draft. I have Minta and Welbeck. I've also got the double Newcastle defence, which you've gone for as well. So yeah, if you want to take a quick look at that or just check it out in my most recent video, it is there. But I'll go back to my team for now. What is the rationale for Thiago? I just think he's a great FPL pick at his price, on penalties, 90 minutes. I mean, like, for the value that you're getting from him, I think he just frees up all the rest of the funds in your squad. Aiden, Semenyo to Minta, Enzo to Minta, or Mateta to Thiago? Would I... Semenyo to Minta, no. Enzo to Minta, I don't mind. I would say Mateta to Thiago is the one I'd go for. It just looks like Crystal Palace attack is declining and declining. What was the rationale for Chow over Burn? I just think in terms of the data that we've seen, the consistent minutes that we expect to get from Chow, obviously Dan Burn has shown that he gets consistent minutes with Eddie Howe as well. But you never know with Lewis Hall coming back. And then once all the other centre-backs coming back as well, I just worry about Burn's minutes slightly. FPL Nils, thoughts on Salah captaincy? My thoughts are don't do it. Get Salah out of your team immediately. I think, yeah, 2 benches in a row for Mo Salah, you know, he's got to go. Is he still the most expensive? No, he's not the most expensive player in the game. Second most expensive player in the game by far, and yeah, I just think he's not even starting anymore. Get rid of him. Get rid of Salah. Figure out something. You can do Salah to Foden and Captain Foden. Buju Man, team. Yeah, I think I fancy him there. Bench Senesi or Enzo? I'd be benching Senesi there. Sir, what do you think about Rice this weekend? I have Enzo on the bench. I don't mind it. Yeah, I quite like Rice, but over Enzo, I also don't mind that. Yeah. I just think that Enzo's slightly more attacking, so he's probably higher upside. User CNR9 says, what's your rank looking like? Not good, mate. 1.4 mil right now, so we'll see if we can get into the top 1 mil this game week. What's my take on Gordon? I think Gordon's a good shout. He's not really been on form. Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, like, I think he's a good player. I think he's probably a decent FPL asset, but at his price, I don't think he's that great of an asset. But with these fixtures, I really like Newcastle attack. Like, they play Burnley twice in the next 5 game weeks. So yeah, I don't mind Gordon as a pick whatsoever. Offside Footy F1. Do you think Saka captain is hot for this game week? Aston Villa did concede 3 goals against Brighton. Yeah, I don't mind Saka captain any game week. I just worry about, you know, his minutes again. I think he will start. I mean, let's have a quick little gander at Arsenal's predicted lineup. At the back, Timber, White has a 50% chance of starting, and so does Saliba. So one of those two in that right centre-back role. Hincapie, Calafiori, Zubamendi, Marino looks like he'll start again. Rice, Odegaard, Eze, Saka. Yeah, Saka's going to start. So this has actually reminded me, I need to do my fantasy draft team real quick. So you guys can have a quick look at my draft and see how I'm lining up. I mean, it's so hard because you just get so many good players, but am I really starting Szoboszlai against Leeds over Neto or Watkins? How many points does he have this year? 68. Szoboszlai has 51. I'd honestly be tempted to just go for Neto. Okay, I'm gonna bench Szoboszlai against Leeds. That's unfortunate. I'm also benching Watkins, but let's go to my other team because I think I have Marino in my other team. Yeah, I've got a lot of injuries here. Saliba hopefully will play. Yeah, I've got Marino there. Happy enough to have him in. I should probably find a way to start Tarkowski if I'm honest. Should I just start him over Saliba? Yeah. And Neto still hasn't found a way into this squad. I'll do what I did as well and bench Szoboszlai there. So there you go. That's the plan. That is the plan. But obviously if Saliba starts, I'll want him. You know what? I'll do this. I'll do this. There we go. I mean, I try not to think too much about my draft team, but yeah, that's how it's looking. Okay, let's go back to normal FPL. We've got, what, 20 minutes? Less than 20 minutes to go for the deadline. Let's try get all these questions out the way. Pick 2, Tarkowski. Toss in Rangers, Welbeck. Definitely Welbeck. Probably Tarkowski, Welbeck. Matthew says, if you had to bench one, Richards, João Pedro, Rice or Chow? Probably bench Richards there. Yeah, I think so. Mystic says, I've Guimaraes, Foden, Minta, Rice, Pedro Neto. I think Voltamada, Thiago, Voltamada, Haaland. Who should I bench? So you have to bench one of them. I'd probably bench Rice or Neto. Rice or Neto. I'd probably bench Rice. I think Neto's just higher upside, isn't he? But in terms of his minutes, I don't know. Pachico says, hey, if we still have free hit chip, do we have to use it now or until we can use it? So you have to use it before game week 19. So I actually think now is a great week to use free hit, depending on how your team is looking, obviously. But if you really like the look of free hit this game week, yeah, I think just go for like what I did. Go check out my recent video. I did a free hit draft, and if you like the look of that free hit draft and it's significantly better than your current team, I do think this game week is a great game week to free hit. Omar says, already made a transfer to get in Foden. Should I make a -4 for replacing Donnarumma? No, don't take Donnarumma out. He plays Sunderland at home. Definitely not for a -4. Mr. Bean says, Bowen, Gakpo or Semenyo, start one. Please help. Who are West Ham playing again? Brighton. Yeah, I mean, Bowen's a good pick, but... Oh, you can only start one. In that case, I'd probably start Gakpo over Bowen. That's tough. Yeah, I'd say... Actually, you know what? I would start Bowen over Gakpo and Semenyo this game week against Brighton. Yeah, I just think he's just that guy. You can't trust Gakpo's minutes, and Semenyo plays Chelsea, so... Michael says, I'm free hitting and have Tarkowski, Chow, and Van Heck in defence. Who would you go for? Chow, definitely. Chow would be the one I'd go for between those. I mean, who would I go for in a free hit? You can check out my free hit team. I've gone for... Wait, no, that's not my free hit team. Byrne, O'Reilly, and Chow at the back is what I've gone for. And Raya in nets. You can check out my free hit draft on my video if you want. Meals Beast says, I got to get rid of Chalobah. Been looking at O'Reilly, Van Dijk. Any other suggestions? Do you have to get rid of Chalobah? Let me check his... Because is he out? No, he's going to start. I don't know if you need to get rid of Chalobah. I think it's different than a lot because you have to make a transfer this game week and just use your one free transfer. And if Chalobah's the one to get the chop, then between O'Reilly and Van Dijk, I think probably Van Dijk is the one I would get in. I just think he's getting a lot of hate recently, but I do think he's just such a good player for FPL points, for getting those DEFCONs. He's a DEFCON monster, and obviously I just think that Liverpool defence will have to sort itself out at some point this season. Another super chat from Sir. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. You said, oh my god, I want to captain Minta. Stop me. I don't know if I should stop you. I quite like the sound of that. I don't mind the look of that. If you're looking for me to stop you, unfortunately, I don't think I can. No, to be honest, I think Minta is a good pick, but I feel like there's so many good options you could pick. Like, obviously, Haaland, Bruno, could go for Voltamada. Any of those three are good. Yeah, I feel like Asaka's another good pick, but I don't think Minta is up there with like one of the best picks you could go for this game week. I think if you have Haaland in your FPL team, you should just be captaining him every game week. And I think we're kind of starting to realise that is the case more and more. Okay, back to the other questions. Should I sell Semenyo, Rodgers, or Saka for Foden? I would say Semenyo. Are you worried about Timber playing centre-back if Saliba is out? Not worried about it at all. No, I don't mind him playing centre-back. It means maybe he gets more defensive contributions. I really only have Timber in there for getting Arsenal clean sheets, those clean sheet points. So that's all I'm not too worried about him getting attack and returns, defensive, whatever. I just want those clean sheets. Amushi says, Lamens or Verbruggen? For this game week, I'd go Lamens. Hall or Chow? I'd go for Chow. Only Zipper, Foden or Bruno? Honestly, I think Bruno. This game week, easier fixture for sure. Easier fixture. I'd go Bruno. Timber, Van Dijk, Rice, O'Reilly, bench 1. I'd probably bench. I love defenders. I'm going to bench Rice there. Sharvin says, thoughts on De Kuiper? Really like him as a pick. Playing out of position. I think he's solid. I just worry about his minutes long term, but as a short term punt, don't mind him. S. Be says, Ramsdale or Lamens? I'd go for Lamens this game week. Clement says, I didn't know you could have multiple FPL teams. Oh, it's a draft. Yeah, that was my free hit draft. I only have one FPL team. Zaid says, can Palace achieve a clean sheet this game week? They definitely can. They definitely can. I mean, Fulham aren't the best attack in the world, so yeah, I think they can. Hey, would you do... So Dwight Shrewd says, would you do Enzo to Minta or Mateta to Voltamata this week? I'd go Mateta to Voltamata this week. Don't mind starting Enzo. You know what? I want to have a quick look. Like, should I start Enzo or Reinders? This is my thinking. Like, will Reinders play? Actually, you know what? I haven't even checked Man City's predicted lineup. So let's see how Reinders... Reinders has a 71% chance of starting against Sunderland at home. And he's on free... He's on free... I was going to say free kicks. I meant corners. Oh. Should I start Reinders? Let's see if Plan FPL is back up, because they do predicted points. But I feel like they're still slightly... The website is slightly down or something. But yeah, let's have a quick look. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have... Yeah, it's still working out some bugs there right now. But yeah, in terms of predicted points, another good website for predicted points that I quite like is this one here. So you can do a quick look, and like Enzo has 4 predicted points this game week. Reinders has 3.1. Yeah, I think Enzo, I just got to start Enzo there. Overthinking it a bit, I think. Overthinking it there. Okay. Who are you benching this game week? Chow, Timber, Vardiol, Van Dijk, Anderson. Thanks in advance. I mean, if I had to bench one player out of those, that's a tough one, man. Anderson, probably. Will Calafiori start? It looks like he's going to start, yeah. Suggest the back 3 among Van Dijk, Guehi, James, Nico O'Reilly, Truffair. Van Dijk, Nico O'Reilly, Guehi. Elliot Anderson, João Pedro, Enzo, Mateta, bench 1. I'm tempted to bench João Pedro over Elliot Anderson, low-key. Yeah, I actually would. João Pedro. Reshape your mind. Drop 1, Gakpo, Thiago, or Minta? Would I drop Gakpo there? Yeah, probably against Leeds away. Will Calafiori start? Yeah, looks like Calafiori is starting. What do you think? Pope out, Henderson in for free? Yeah, don't mind it. Don't mind it at all. I think there's other picks you could go for. No one's talking about Stephen Gallagher. 3rd best defence in the league based off expected goals conceded per 90 this season, Brentford have. So yeah, Gallagher has to be on people's radars, but no one's looking at him. Dylan says, Senesi to O'Reilly or Chow? My heart says O'Reilly, my brain says Chow. What do you think? I think both are good picks. I have Chow in my team, so I'm going to back him. And obviously they play Burnley at home this game week, so that's just such a high upside game. I'd go for Chow. Desi, Kamara, Elliot Anderson, João Pedro, Enzo, Mateta, bench 1. Yeah, I'd bench João Pedro there. Raya and Bumo, Burn, or Saka. Raya and Bumo, Burn, I'd say. But just be aware Bumo is leaving for AFCON. Harvey Butler, get in Dallo or Van Heck? I would go Van Heck there. Abdel says, I'm from Egypt. Why is Salah and Marmouche but in bench and MC is Haaland? Why Salah and Marmouche in bench? I don't know. Oh, why is Marmouche in the bench? Yeah, I don't know why Marmouche isn't getting any minutes. That's an absolute crazy. Over Savinho, it's mental. Ahab says Mateta or Cherky. I'd go for Mateta there. Semenyo or Anderson at Forest? Higher upside, I would say Semenyo. Raj Viraj says Igor Thiago captain in game week 16 and 17. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Abdul Mohammed says, wildcard team, please. I don't have a wildcard team, unfortunately. I don't have time to do one. We've only got a little over 5 minutes left to go in the deadline. We've only got a little over 5 minutes left. You did, MJ says, I did Mateta to Thiago for a hit. Let's go. Who to start between Lacroix and Anderson? Mateta to Thiago is good for a hit. Don't know if that was worth it, but we'll see this game week. Between Lacroix and Anderson, I'd probably start Lacroix, I would say. Both are DEFCON monsters, and I just think, yeah, Lacroix with the clean sheet potential, I'd go for him. David Mansour, do you see Voltemata as 1 week punt and shift to 3-5-2 with Haaland and Thiago, or will you leave him in your team and play 3-4-3? No, I like him as a I would say a short term punt, not a 1 week punt. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get Thiago in as well and still play a 4-3-3. I like the 4-3-3, boys. The 4-3-3 is my new play, honestly. 3 midfielders, like, yeah, I don't mind it. With Voltemata and Thiago in there, yeah, and then eventually I'll do Thiago to like Mark Gio and do a 3-4-3, which I think 3-4-3 is better, but just with how my team's looking right now, yeah, I think 4-3-3 is the play that I'm going to go for, and do Mateta to Thiago next game week. And just go heavy in the midfield, like Enzo to Foden as well. Bench João Pedro or Reinders? I would bench Reinders there. Badera says, honestly, what do you think? Pope out, Henderson in for free? Yeah, I like Pope out. Henderson in for free is good. I would also look at Kelleher. I've said it multiple times now. I think Kelleher is the best goalkeeper to get in for Pope. Ravinash says, when to use the triple captain chip? I think game week 17, West Ham, Haaland plays West Ham at home. I like the look of that, to be honest. Hamza says, start Semenyo or O'Reilly? Honestly, I'd probably start... That's a tough one. I would say I'd probably start Semenyo. Man City defense is shambolic. Zidnex, I'm thinking of going for Voltemata captain. Opinion, I love it. I don't have the balls to do it. The only thing I will say is that I think Voltemata gets like 60-70 minutes, which obviously I just transferred him in, so it's like, why am I transferring a player that isn't going to play the full 90? But I think he can do a lot of damage in 60 minutes. I'm just not sure about captaining him compared to Haaland, who's going to play 90 minutes. But I am going to, you know what? I'm going to put the vice captain on Voltemata. Just for the crack. There you go. There you go. Is it worth -4 for Foden, says Crazy Vods? I don't think it is. I know people are mad for Foden this game week, but a -4 to get him in, I'm not so sure about. Anonymous Lad says, drop one. Timber, Konate, O'Reilly, Anderson. Timber, Konate, O'Reilly, Anderson. Oh, probably be tempted by Konate, honestly, but yeah, Anderson against Crystal Palace, I would drop. Livermento or Hall, Patrick says. Livermento is going to play like 100%. Let's have a quick look at the Newcastle predicted lineup before I answer that question. Looks like Livermento 92%. Hall, where's Hall? 75%. So yeah, Livermento slightly higher chance to start, so I'd pick him. Bear in mind, guys, we only have about 3+ minutes left to go on the deadline. So make your decisions if you haven't already. Play Guehi or Virgil, says Omkar. Says, I would play Van Dijk. Jason says, Semenyo or Dewsbury Hall? Semenyo for sure. Semenyo, offside footy, Semenyo is scoring this game week. Chelsea looked vulnerable without Caicedo. I'm wishing I would have held Semenyo till game week 16. Yeah, I quite like having Semenyo in my team this game week. The fact that everyone just transferred him out for Foden, I could see Semenyo scoring and Foden blanking. I mean, I hope so. But it's one of those things where it's like, I had the choice between doing... what's better this game week? Let me know what you think. Semenyo against Chelsea at home and Voltemata against Burnley at home versus I could have done Foden against Sunderland at home and João Pedro against Bournemouth away. So it was like, what do I do? I feel like Semenyo and Voltemata is better than Foden and João Pedro, if I'm honest. Just this game week, not in general. 4M IFC says, bench one, Elliot Anderson, Rodgers and Bumo Mateta. Would you be benching Rodgers? Probably, yeah, I'd bench Rodgers against Arsenal. George says, start Kieran Dewsbury Hall or Mateta. Yeah, definitely start Mateta. Asim Lunat says, Delict over Van Heck, first bench player. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I would maybe just edge it towards Delict, I'd say. Wolves are shite. Thiago or Enzo? Thiago for sure. Ralph Sutton, any Arsenal team news? Let's have a quick look and see what we can find, lads. We've got 2 minutes left on the deadline, so we might as well see if we can get any Arsenal team leaks. Arsenal leak. Boom. Apparently Voltamata is 50-50. We'll see about that. I've got him vice captain. Maybe I should just change that vice captain back to Bruno just to be fully safe. That was a quick one. 1 minute left, lads. 1 minute left. I mean, it doesn't look like we're getting any... I mean, all we know is Declan Rice and Trossard have arrived with the squad. Yeah, it looks like no Arsenal leaks, unfortunately. So let me just go into the app and take a screenshot of my team real quick before the app closes down. Pick team. Boom. There we go. I'll also take a screenshot on this one just to be safe. Yeah, you don't want to like refresh your team and then you can't even remember what you did for like an hour. There we go. That's the deadline is quickly approaching. Make sure you got all your changes made. I think you made the right decision. If it goes south, you anyways would have 5 free transfers in a couple of hours. Yeah, offside footy. I agree. There we go, lads. The deadline is up. So hopefully I did make the right decision because there's no going back now. Yeah, looking forward to this game week. I'm happy to have Haaland captain and not be stressing all game week, especially since like last game week he started off so strong. And then it was just like waiting 2 days for Bruno to come in and absolutely stink up the gaff. That was pretty tough to watch. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I'm happy that I made this decision. Semenyo and Voltamata compared to Foden and João Pedro. I quite like Semenyo and Voltamata this week. And just backing against the crowd. Like, everyone going for Foden. I think Foden's a good pick. Don't get me wrong. I wish I had him in my team over Semenyo. But if I had to make the decision this game week, I quite like the decision I made to go for against the Foden hype and just try to get Voltamata into this team. I really hope he starts. I really hope he starts. I mean, let's see if we get any leaks whatsoever, but honestly, it doesn't look like we will. Doesn't look like we will get any leaks. I mean, where is this coming from, by the way? No news on Newcastle lineup so far. But yeah, all eyes will be on that Arsenal lineup, especially with, who's going to play at the defence. Hope you guys didn't hear that. Free hit. Okay, FPL 420 says free hitted. Gvardiol, De Kuiper, Burn. So double City defence. Don't mind it. Gordon, Minta, Bruno and Bumo, Haaland, Welbeck, Voltamata. So triple City, triple Brighton, triple Newcastle, double United. Going big. Love it. I actually really like that team. Brad's gone Gakpo to Gordon, Haaland captain. Rank of 437k, which isn't bad at all. Triple Man United is crazy. Triple Man United is nuts. That's a crazy decision. Yeah, that's wild. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all for joining. By the way, there are some people who are still betting on Salah Hall this game week before AFCON. I think non-Salah owners are genuinely good FPL players. Yeah, non-Salah owners. What is going on there? People, I mean, yeah. Maybe, I mean, it's Leeds. So, obviously Liverpool will have every right to think that they're going to score that game. But just haven't seen Salah get benched twice. And he's been so poor anyways. Yeah, I don't really... I mean, obviously, he did really well at the start of the season, but a lot of those goals and assists he got were just like little moments. So I'm not so sure about the Salah pick. But anyways, we'll leave it there, guys. Really appreciate you all coming into the stream. If you're still here, drop a like if you haven't already on the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already as well. And yeah, really appreciate you guys joining in. Good luck this game week.